Hello, I'm Alan Wheeler. This is my channel where I discuss tarot and spirituality. And today I'd like to talk about the path of the Fool in the Thoth Tarot. And I'm new to the Thoth deck, so I'm using sources I've seen online, a lot of material from this book, Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot by Lon Milo Duquette. But I've kind of pieced it together in my own way, looking at the pathway of some of these cards in the major arcana. And supposedly, to understand these pathways on the Tree of Life in the Kabbalah, we need to meditate and study to arrive at a kind of intuitive understanding how they integrate, how they balance, and how they connect. So this is kind of a starting point for that. So Atu Zero, or the Fool, runs from Kether, the first Sephiroth, to 2, Chokmah. So Kether is the crown, that divine starting point where nothing yet is conceived. And 2 is Chokmah, called wisdom. And this is sometimes called the All-Father, the supreme male principle, and Crowley called it the beast and chaos as well. But this is wisdom, so we're going from 1 to 2. And this is the first sequential pathway that I've looked at here in this series. So one thing to remember is that the Sephiroth 1, 2, and 3 are above the abyss, so they are strong and they define their suit. And after that, we get the descent of energy into more of the material emanations here. And they exist below the abyss there. So we're still up here. And the key 0 is nothing. So this is innocence that is untainted by anything, and anything more would ruin that complete innocence. And it's kind of shown by the fool who has his feet in the air. And in other versions, the fool's about to leap off a cliff, but the feet are actually on the ground. At least one is planted on the ground. Not so in the Thoth Tarot. We see the butterfly and the dove representing transformation and kind of that Holy Spirit in the old story that hovered over the chaos when the earth was without form and void. And we see this bright, creative light, as Crowley called it, as of the sun back here. There's also the, between the butterfly and the dove, it's hard to see, but there's a vulture representing Maut, the Egyptian god, but like Mary, the spirit or wind was the source of birth in that case. Other deity associated with this card, we see the green of the green man of spring. He's pouring out the grail here, and that reminds us of Parzival, the pure fool of the Grail legend. the Egyptian god of silence, who treads on the crocodile, the devourer. So we see him, the crocodile, down here at the feet, under the feet. And then the pine cones and fruit, grapes and ivy represent Dionysus, that wild, creative deity. So those are some of the deity we might associate with this emanation, with this pathway here. So let's look at that pathway as the aces, between the aces and the twos in the Thoth Tarot. And remember, the aces are different from all the other number cards. They're not just the first number card in this system, but they contain all the other court cards and number cards within them. And so this is how they are the Kether, or the crown, on that tree of life here. And so we have the inception of fire bursting forth. We have the secret fountain of the Grail, of water, rather, the secret fountain of water. We have the primordial air element and the root of earth. And all of these form letters of the tetragrammaton, which is the spelling out the name of God. The Yod contains all four of the other letters. And we have the first H, then vowel, and the final H. So these are very special there in the Kether, in the one, in the monad, the complete unity of everything. So let's look at the pathway now, after that reminder. And so the Ace of Wands manifests in dominion. And we see the red colors here of Aries and Mars. So this is fire in its highest, brightest form, the ideal will. And that's will free of objects, and that kind of pure intention. And we see that represented by 6 flames of the sun coming out here from the two wands. The next is considering the path of water here, from the Ace of Cups to the Two of Cups, manifesting in, I got an extra card there, manifesting in love. So the lotus and the dolphins flowing show water in its best and highest form. And Lady Frida Harris thought this was one of the most beautiful cards in the tarot deck that she drew, that she painted. The Ace of Swords manifests in peace. And so it's said that the moon in Libra, represented by this card, shows that judgments are fair, that there's equilibrium and balance here. And although the Hindus claim the mind was the great enemy, here we kind of see a synthesis of thought, at least a temporary balance, as in making good judgments and good decisions, seen in this card. And finally, the Ace of Discs manifests in change. And this is where wisdom, the wisdom of the universe, at least in terms of the dynamics, show the complete manifested universe in this card. And it looks kind of like the dividing cells in the beginning of the organism forming. We see this flow. We see the yin and the yang symbols, and the flow of the serpent that cycles around in the figure 8, consuming his own tail here. So the complete manifested universe, material universe contained in that card. So that is the path of the Fool. The path of the Fool there on the Tree of Life. So I hope if this was helpful that you'd like and subscribe so that more people have the chance to see this. As always, I hope you find connection with people in your life, with online community, and on your spiritual path, whatever that may be. Take care.